Hi, this is Steph with Belladonna Dyes, and today's tutorial is going to be a twofer. For this project, I'm going to start by centering the shirt, and what I'm doing right now is using a washable marker to mark out the center points. Then I'm going to tuck one sleeve inside the other sleeve, line up all the seams along the underarm and along the shoulder, and if there are any side seams, I line those up too. Then I isolate out the back of the shirt, and then I fold the top of the shirt over the back of the shirt, and I smooth it all out. And what this does is it creates symmetry. So your dye is the same on the front of the shirt, and your dye is the same on the back of the shirt. And it's also the same from side to side. This really is the best method for most projects. You'll notice that I do a lot of picking it up off the table, and I'm off camera, I'm shaking it. And I don't know if that's just because I have a camera overhead and I'm trying to stay out of the shot, but it works for me because I'm trying to stay out of the shot. So I'll pick it up, I'll shake it, I'll grab the points that I want to hold on to, like shake it. And then, or it's not really a shake, it's like a snap. I snap it and then I put it back down on the table, and then usually everything lines up. So right now I have the back of the shirt flat against the table. I'm working on those seams, and now I've just folded the top of the shirt over the back of the shirt. And really, this just takes practice, and when I don't do one for a few days, I have to start all over. I know what I'm doing, but the muscle memory in my hands isn't quite there. And I'm a massive perfectionist, and so I don't want any wrinkles. I want it perfectly lined up, and I will do this until I think it's the best that it possibly can be. This is the foundation for your tie-dye. If you can get this all perfect and nice and smooth, you're going to have much better results at the end. You're going to have really good symmetry. Now I'm going to decide, where do I want the center of my pattern to be? So I like to come down from the collar and a couple, 2, 3, 4 inches down from the underarm. And I'm using my straight edge of my yardstick just to help me pick it straight up off the table and fold it in half. And now line everything back up. Just make sure that, everything is nice and smooth, no wrinkles. And then we can get to where we're going to draw our pattern on with a washable marker. Now this pattern is an old Casual Collisions pattern. It's one of the very first shirts that I ever made, and so I'm going off memory. I don't think it turns out quite exactly like his did because I didn't go back and find the tutorial. But all I did is I drew kind of like a half circle, and now I'm going to pleat along this line, making the line as straight as possible. And I'd say these pleats are definitely about an inch tall. I like to secure my projects with rubber bands, and these are my second favorite rubber bands, and I do have a link down below in the description box for them and everything else that I use for tie-dye, so check that out. Now you could also use kite string if that's what you like. You could even use sinew if you wanted to create white lines in your project. I don't. I just find the rubber bands to be quick and easy and just get it done. It is not a testament to skill level, and I don't want you to feel that way. Some people just prefer to tie things up, and it's their method, and that's okay. As long as you get it secure and you can get to where you can add the dye to it, it's fine. I just don't want you to feel bad if you feel like you're not keeping up with the people that use kite string, because I have kite string, I've got all of that stuff. I just don't like to use it. I like to just get through the project and get to the fun part where we add the dye. Now this is a rather thick fold, so you've got 4 layers of fabric, so you've got the seams in the shoulders and in the underarm, and it can just be tricky. Just keep working with it. Yay! Now it's time for the fun part. We get to add the dye. So I have this set up on a rack, flat, over top of one of my totes. These particular racks I got up at Walmart, and if you take the legs off of them, which you don't have to, but I've taken the legs off of it, on the top side of it, it has like this little lip. It fits perfectly down sort of into the handle grooves of my tote, and it kind of locks it into place, and I really love them because it makes it nice and secure. I want to remind you guys that the GoFundMe I started for Scotty Thompson is still very active. We're doing really great, but we're still quite a ways from the goal. So I need everybody, if they can, to at least donate $5. That's the minimum that you can do. And if you're able to donate more, please do. Help me reach the goal so that Scotty can breathe a little bit and allow his body to heal so he can regain his vision, if he can regain his vision. For those of you that have already donated, thank you so very much. I greatly appreciate it. You guys are so amazing. And for those of you that financially can't, I completely understand. Times are tough. It's hard on all of us right now. But you're putting out your prayers and your positive vibes into the universe, and I know how much that really means so much to Scotty. He is so appreciative and grateful. Scott and Kelly Walker are going to be holding an auction in our Facebook group. So if you're not already a member, it's Belladonna Dyes Community Tie-Dye Group, and you'll find the link for it down below in the description box. It's right underneath the Etsy link. Get over in there so you can participate in the auction. Scott and Kelly have 13 one-of-a-kind Scotty Thompson shirts that are going to be up for sale, for auction. 100% of the proceeds are going to Scotty. So we want to spend as much as we possibly can on those shirts so that, you know, the money can last longer. 100% of it goes to Scotty, so the buyer will be paying for shipping, but it's for a good cause, you guys. So head over to the Facebook group and check that out. So this is where the twofer is coming in. I dropped so much dye underneath while I was adding my dye on top. I thought, well, God, that is such a tremendous waste. I'm going to try to do something here. So I already had a spiral already tied up, planned for something else. And I grabbed it and I thought, well, why don't I just try to use up some of this dye and do a muck dye on it? So what I'm thinking right now is like, how can I position the dye underneath to where I can put it in the spiral pieces? And then I realize, no, it's just going to be too difficult. So then I just take the shirt and I smear it all around, just coating it in as much of the dye as possible. Now I can tell you for this, I do definitely recommend that you wear gloves. I got dye all over my hands. No big deal, it washes off, but still, I wasn't thinking. I just like jumped into it and curious to see what's going to happen. So I'm just gonna let this play out so you can kind of just see what I was doing. Most of you are probably figuring out exactly what I'm doing here. I'm getting prepared to have this shirt sit underneath the other shirt and dye them at the same time. The color that got all over my hands when all the colors mixed was a very orangey, blackish looking color, and I thought, oh, that's not gonna look too pretty. So I decided that I would just really wildly take some dye and put it kind of on the pieces of the pie, just to help the shirt out and maybe give it a little bit more of a pretty aesthetic when it's done. And so we'll see if that works, but like no great care to where the dye is going. I did add the lemon yellow in a huge amount because you guys know when I work with lemon yellow or yellows in general, they have a tendency to vanish on me. So I'm gonna give the yellow a fighting chance on this one. back to normal standard operating procedures. I give both projects a quick little sprinkle of soda ash for good measure, and then I add my ice. I'm adding a very generous layer of ice to this project because I want it to go all the way through this thick shirt and drip down on top of the spiral below. So I came back and I checked it after the first layer of ice had melted, and there was still a lot of undissolved dye in the purple and the red. And so I added another very generous layer of ice, and there wasn't very much muck water because the shirt was soaking it all up. So I also took some ice and I just threw it down into the container to create extra muck. That way the shirt down below had something to soak in. Here are both of the shirts after 48 hours. As you can see, the spiral is soaking down there in the muck, and the shirt on top just did its regular thing. So now it's time for the rinse out. You want to start by using cold water. That's going to rinse away any soda ash that might still be reacting within the fabric, and then increase your water up to hot and rinse until the water runs pretty much clear. From here, I take it to the washing machine, and I like to do hot water cycles using Curolon. Curolon is a professional textile detergent. And then I like to do a final hot water cycle using Milsoft, and Milsoft is a professional fabric softener. I do get both of those from Dharma Trading Company, and the links are down below in the description box. It just makes it easy for you to find. Then I'll put it in the dryer, and I'll iron it, and we'll come back and we'll see the results. So far, I'm pretty impressed with this spiral. It looks like any other muck spiral that I make. What I like about this whole two-fer method is that it's a space saver. I'm able to do two projects at the same time without having a bunch of containers sitting all around. And if you don't mind making two projects in the same color palette, then heck, why not? And take advantage. Now granted, I did add dye to this project, so it's not 100% a freebie, but it took me no time to just randomly sprinkle on dye and then benefit from all the dripping ice water. Well, here it is, guys. Here is shirt number 1 after it's been washed and dried and ironed, and I think it turned out great. It is so bright. Like, this thing is glowing from outer space. One thing I would do differently that I did not take into consideration was I did this on a V-neck shirt. I would do it on a crew neck because the definition up at the top kind of gets lost on the front of the shirt. On the back of the shirt it looks great, but on the front it gets lost. The colors are beautiful. Like, just, this is what tie-dye is about. Massive vibrancy, stand out in a crowd, and the pattern is pretty, and the shirt is super easy to make. Any color combination is going to look good, so try it. Now here is our twofer. Here's our bonus spiral. And I don't know, I kind of honestly like this shirt better than the shirt on top just because I love spirals. And this thing is wild. It is so bright. Now purple and yellow, they don't go together. So the ultraviolet doesn't want to play nice with the yellow, but that's okay because to me, for this time of year right now, this shirt is all about fall. The brownish tones that the purple and yellow made are like the leaves, and then it's just a cornucopia of color, fall colors. It's really beautiful, and the fact that I was able to make two shirts at the same time just excites me. And like, all those dark lines in it are from the muck. And the bonus also, which I just thought of right now, all of that loose dye that was down at the bottom of the container was just going to go to waste. So I was able to utilize it, and that makes me very happy. I hate wasting things. And now right here are the two shirts together. So what do you think of this twofer, guys? Please leave me some comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, leave a thumbs up, and click the bell and set it to all. That way you get notified of future uploads. And remember, have fun tie-dyeing!